Let's address that. Let's address that. There is no Supreme Grand Council. Is one person. The other person said, we are the Supreme Grand Council. See, this is why you got to study. And this is why I constantly tell people, don't believe me. Don't believe people you see on this YouTube or the internet, these videos. Don't believe people. Look it up for yourself. If someone says something, say, you got documentation for that? Or what source did you get that from? And read it for yourself, because it's a lot of people in fezzes and turbans with L's and bays calling themselves Moors, saying they follow the prophet, and are on some, you know what I mean? Let me get back to what I was getting back to, about there being no Supreme Council. You think I'm just making this up? Come on, man. Where are we at? And it's entitled under something called To Make Changes. And just so you know, this is coming from the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I'll get in closer so you can see it. Home Office, Home Rule 805. Yeah. Yeah. Let me read. To make changes. Please pay attention. The two folks that were saying there is no Supreme Grand Council and that we are the Supreme Grand Council. Pay close attention.
He said, it is reported that the prophet, the supreme head of the Moorish Science Temple of America, will appoint, again that word appoint, a Supreme Grand Council, of which he will be Supreme Grand Chairman. That it will be the duty of this Supreme Grand Council to regulate all of the affairs and the properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and to be the sole judge of what constitutes conduct injurious to the order, peace, welfare, interests of the organization, and to interpret anything that would be at variance with the doctrines of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm paraphrasing now. But clearly this is what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali wanted done. It's what he wanted done, and not what some members of the organization, including myself or you or anyone else.
It is reported that the Prophet, the supreme executive authority, will appoint a Supreme Grand Council, of which he will be the Supreme Grand Chairman. The Supreme Grand Council will have power and duty. The Supreme Grand Council will have power and duty to control and supervise, not a little bit, not some, not most, but all the affairs and properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America. What were you saying? You said there was no... Okay. The Supreme Grand... I'm going to read it again. The Supreme Grand Council will have power and duty to control and supervise all of the affairs and properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And they will be the sole judge of what constitutes conduct injurious to the order, peace, interest, or welfare of the organization, or at variance with its constitution and bylaws. Also, the rules and regulations made by the Prophet, and shall be the sole judge of the sufficiency of the evidence by which such conduct is shown. There's no Supreme Grand Council?
This is what he said.
You know what's interesting too, more, is the fact that seeing that he wanted this done, why wasn't it done? Why was it not done to the fact that most of the members in the Science of America don't know about it, are ignorant of it, and have no knowledge of a Supreme Grand Council that is supposed to be located right here in Chicago and nowhere else?
And Cujo, Taj, Aleem, Red Pill, Blue Pill, who else we got? All of the great brothers and sisters that have spoken on Moors. Any and all of them. The so-called Supreme Grand Sheiks, Bailey Ill or the other one, I forget the brother's name, Braswell Bay, all the grand governors, all the chairmans, all the faithful members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's on your shoulders. That's on our shoulders. Where is the Supreme Grand Council that would be able to clarify all of these issues?
That Brother Emile Ill was the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, right here in the city of Chicago. There can be no dispute about that.
And what did Brother Emile Ill do to make sure that the Prophet got his Supreme Grand Council in place after the Prophet passed off the scene?
Well, in the convention of 1930, the minutes clearly show that one of the things that was at the top of the agenda of that convention was to make sure that any vacancies in the Supreme Grand Council were filled. And we have the minutes of that meeting, of that convention of 1930. And there were other Grand Sheiks within the movement at that time who recognized Brother Emile Ill as a Supreme Grand Sheik, and who recognized the authority of the Supreme Grand Council as late as 1931. And of course, after the passing of Brother Emile Ill in 1934, then further erosion of the central authority of the organization began to take place. And people, other groups within the movement tended to pull away and begin to do their own thing. You say it's one way, and I say it's another way. And the Supreme Grand Council is in place. And you and I say, well, since you and I can't reach a decision on that, then let's take this matter to the Supreme Grand Council and see what they say. We take the matter to the Supreme Grand Council. They issue their ruling, their opinion, and they present it, and it's binding on both parts because we accept the authority, therefore the authority of the Supreme Council. And even if that ruling supports my position or not, you see, I'm bound by it. And that prevents you and I from pulling apart. Well, that's what we believe is going to bring unity throughout the movement and preserve unity once we have achieved it. That's what I think is most important at this time.
I agree.
This unity is bringing about this unity, and the Supreme Grand Council is the key to bringing about that unity. But it's important to understand that the Supreme Grand Council is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's nation. This is what he wanted. And as followers of the Moorish Science Temple of America, particularly for those of us who are officers or sheiks, adepts in this movement, it is our responsibility to see to it that the Prophet is the law. In other words, and the Prophet said to us in that first convention, he said, all the heads of all of the temples to work hand in hand together to intercede that their Prophet is the law. And so if the Prophet wanted the Supreme Grand Council in place, and he put the Supreme Grand Council in place, then there is no head of this movement anywhere who can ignore it. It must be done.
In conclusion, brother, I'd like for you to tell the Moors something in conclusion about the Supreme Grand Council.
Okay. As you mentioned, we want the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America to know about the Supreme Grand Council. So in 1993, as you mentioned, we conducted a public lecture, public seminar on the Supreme Grand Council and the issue of unity. We announced that we were going to follow it up the next year with another one, and we did. Just in April, was it May of 1994, we had another lecture, and we presented the information, and it was documented that it can be no dispute about it. It was fully documented. We announced that in the lecture that just concluded, that the Supreme Grand Council would be appointed in the convention of 1994. That until that time, that an acting Supreme Grand Council would be in place. But in the convention of 1994, that is September of 1994, the Supreme Grand Council, the permanent members of the Supreme Grand Council, will be appointed. But until that time, we want to get as much information about the Supreme Grand Council out to the Moorish, to the members of this organization as possible, so they can make intelligent choices and intelligent decisions, well-informed decisions, because the mere ideas of man just do.
That's true. In conclusion, Moors, welcome to the Prophet Supreme Grand Council. Write to us, call us, we'll make sure you get the information that you need on the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America for our survival. Thank you, and peace.
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 Hey, so that's it. Once again, I am Rami Abdullah Salam El. I'm a Moorish American. I would like to thank you for watching the video about the Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America. I appreciate you taking the time to inform yourself and educate yourself about this group. And now I am charging you with a duty, with a responsibility. If you are a Moor, if you are a Moorish American, and especially if you are a member in the Moorish Science Temple of America, I am now charging you to ask your grand sheikhs, your grand governors, your chairmans, any official, any person in an official capacity, and also your fellow members within your temple and the Moorish Science Temple of America. I need you to start asking them, where is our Supreme Grand Council? And who are the current members? And if they do not have an answer, if we do not, in my opinion, which we do not, have an active Supreme Grand Council, then we need to immediately fill the vacancy positions in those seats, that official capacities, and we need to make that group, the Supreme Grand Council, active again, just as Prophet Noble Drew Ali directed. Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you have questions, if you would like more information, please contact me, iamhhtemple@gmail.com, iamhhtemple@gmail.com. Thank you. Much love. Keep shining. Peace.